Hello, in this video we are going to answer this question quickly. We're going to code it in Java. We're going to write a program that takes a user's age as input. The program should determine if the age entered is younger than or equal to 12, between 12 and 65, or older than or equal to 65. Now with these types of problems, especially for younger coders, I'd like to kind of break it down and think about the input process output model. And this is a good way to design these early solutions. So we're going to start by taking the input, which is we need to take their age. Now in Java, to take an input, you can use what's called a scanner object. So when I'm teaching students how to do this, I often start off by saying, you have to create this thing called the scanner object. This is a line of code that you'll always have. Don't worry about how it works yet. But what I do need to know is that when I write this line, I have what's called an sin. And that is what holds the functions to take inputs in Java. Now, a little bit more of a detailed explanation would be what we're doing here is we're creating a scanner reference, and then we construct a scanner object. And then we use that object. But you'll see you have an error here. And what I need to do is I need to import scanner, because this is in the java.utils class or module. So I import this, and now I have access to it. And this should be system.in, pardon me. Okay, so now I need to take an input. So I'm going to say int age equals, I'm going to make the scanner object sin, and I'm going to say next int. And this is how you take an integer. And I can show you this works just by simply saying system.out.println age. So if I give this a quick run, down here in the console, this should come up in a second. Well, it's sitting there. Actually, this is some bad coding because it's waiting for me to type an input, and I put like 65. There it is. So what I want to do here is I want to prompt the person. So system.out.print what is your age? And we run this again. What is your age? I put 65, and there it is. Okay, so we now have our input. So the next step is the process. So to process this, we're going to write some if statements. So I'm going to say if, and in Java I have to contain my if state, my Boolean expression inside of parentheses. So I'm going to say if age is less than or equal to 12. And open a brace, close a brace, and I'm going to do, now I'm going to do this the same way. I'm going to make another string variable called output. I'm going to set to 0, set it to empty string. This is the best way to do this, but I'm going to do it this way, and I'll explain why once I'm done. So I'm just going to take this output string now, and I'm going to set it equal to you are 12 or younger. There we go. So now I'm going to say an else if, and I'm going to say if age now is less than 65. So if age is less than 65, I'm going to have an output, and it's going to say you are between 12 and 65. And then finally, I could do another else if like this, greater than or equal to 65, and I could do output, you are 65 or older. But because if I look at these three ifs, this like if block, it covers all possibilities for age. Because if the user is not less than or equal to 12, and they're not less than 65, they must be greater than or equal to 65. So what I could do here is I could simply just delete that else if and just make that an else. From a processing perspective, it has no different. But if you were to do this a million times, that's a million extra conditional checks you might have to do, which can have an impact. These little pieces are really important to catch. All right, now I'm just going to do system.out.println output. And I'm going to run this. What is your age? 12. You are 12 or younger. Let's put 13. You are between 12 and 65. 64. You are between 12 and 65. 65. You are 65 or older. 66. You are 65 or older. You'll notice what I'm doing when I run this is I'm checking values within the ranges and then right at the point of change. So 12, 65, because that's where the logic errors most commonly slip in. Okay, so let's go back to why did I make a variable and then print it out after? I did this to kind of reinforce this input process output model. It's a really nice way to think about your approach, especially if you're younger. Let me just kind of get all this in the screen. If you're a little younger, and some early contest problems can be thought of like this. Now, what people most likely would do here is that they actually wouldn't do it this way. What they would do is they would just take this text and do system.out.println here. And that's perfectly valid as well. So you could do something like system.out.println there, system.out.println here, and system.out.println. There we go. And this works perfectly fine as well. And if I run this, you'll see that it will work the same way. What is your age? 9. No difference. I won't do all the test cases again. Now, one final thought. Let's put this back the way it was. This approach is actually pretty good as well for some other reasons, because sometimes you don't want to immediately do something once you know the result of the if statement. Sometimes you want to hold on to that information to do something with it later on. And by storing something inside a temporary variable, this is a nice way to manage it so you could use it later on. I hope this video helped. Have a wonderful day.